Today, we are diving into the incredible field that, and I mean this literally, builds the world around us, right from the ground up.
All right, let me ask you something. Think about a pair of high-tech sneakers, the smartphone that's probably in your hand right now, and a massive jet engine. On the surface, they're completely different, right? But what if I told you they all share one critical secret?
That secret is the materials they're made of. Every single one of them relies on incredibly advanced, custom-designed materials to do what they do. To push the boundaries of what's even possible. Our modern world just wouldn't exist without them.
So what do you call the field that's behind all this magic? It's called Materials Science and Engineering, or MSE for short. It's basically the science of stuff. And honestly, it might be one of the most important fields you've never really thought about.
Okay, so what is the science of stuff, really? Well, to get it, we need to zoom in, like way, way in. We're talking all the way down to the level of individual atoms.
So the textbook definition is that MSE is the field that's all about making, testing, and understanding every type of material that we use to build, well, everything.
But here's a much cooler way to put it, and it really gets to the heart of it. You could call it atom arrangement science. It's all about playing with the basic building blocks of the universe, the elements on the periodic table, and arranging them in really clever ways to get amazing new results.
And here's the absolute central idea of the entire field. It's so important. The way atoms are arranged on the inside of a material, that's its internal structure, directly controls how that material behaves on the outside. And those behaviors, those are its properties. Things like strength, or if it conducts electricity, or how it handles heat. Change the structure, and you change the properties. It's that simple and that powerful.
Now, to get a handle on this relationship, engineers use a really cool model called the MSE Tetrahedron. Think of it as a four-point guide. You've got structure, how the atoms are laid out. Then you have the properties that come from that structure. Then there's processing, which is how you actually make the thing. And finally, you have performance, how it holds up in the real world. The key thing to remember is they're all linked. You can't just change one without affecting all the others.
So with those ideas in mind, what are the actual materials that engineers get to work with? Let's take a look at the main families in their toolkit.
Broadly speaking, engineers group materials into three main classes. First up, you've got your metals. You know these. They're strong, you can bend them into shape, and they conduct heat and electricity really well. Think copper wires or stainless steel forks. Then you have polymers, which is just a fancy word for plastics. These can be super variable, but they're often lightweight and flexible, like a plastic shopping bag. And finally, we have ceramics. These are things like concrete or a teacup. They're usually very hard, a bit brittle, and great insulators against heat and electricity.
But this is where the real fun begins. When you start mixing and matching these classes, you get a fourth supercategory, composites. These are basically hybrid materials. You take one material, called the matrix, and you embed another, stronger material, the reinforcement, inside it. The result is something that has way better properties than either of the original parts.
A perfect everyday example is reinforced concrete. The concrete itself, that's the matrix, is amazing at handling being squished, but if you try to pull it apart, it cracks easily. Steel rods, the reinforcement, are the exact opposite. They're fantastic at resisting being pulled. So you put the steel inside the concrete and boom, you get a composite that's incredibly strong in every direction.
And this ability to design new materials from the ground up is how we engineer what seems impossible. I mean, just look at the massive leap we've made from basic steel to the kinds of high-tech stuff we use today.
For ages, steel was king. It was the go-to for anything that needed to be strong. But let's be real. It's heavy, it rusts, and it melts at high temperatures. Well, modern superalloys and composites have totally changed the game. They're way lighter, they barely corrode, and they can stay strong at temperatures that would turn steel into a puddle.
And I'm not talking about a small improvement. Take a modern jet engine. Steel has been almost completely kicked out. As you can see here, it's now mostly made of advanced superalloys built around titanium and nickel. These incredible materials can operate safely inside that engine at over 1,500 degrees Celsius. Just think about that.
And this material revolution is everywhere, not just in airplanes. In medicine, MSE gives us biocompatible implants that our own bodies accept. In electronics, it's the ridiculously pure silicon that makes every single computer chip work. For energy, materials scientists are creating better solar panels and longer-lasting batteries. And in sports, it's what gives us that super light, super strong carbon fiber gear.
So, if that's what materials engineering is up to today, what's coming next? This is where things start to sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. Researchers right now are developing some truly mind-blowing stuff. I mean, we're talking about smart materials, like concrete that can literally heal its own cracks, or metamaterials, which have structures that don't exist in nature and can do things like bend light around an object, the foundation for real-life invisibility cloaks. There's also a huge push for sustainable materials to protect our planet and incredible biomaterials that let us 3D print custom bone replacements.
And if you think arranging individual atoms sounds impossible, well, take a look at this. This isn't science fiction. It's from 1989. Scientists at IBM used a special microscope to literally pick up and move 35 single atoms to spell out their logo. This idea of atom arrangement isn't a futuristic dream. We've been doing it for decades.
So, in the end, it all comes back to this one idea. From the strongest alloys in a rocket to the smart materials that will shape our cities tomorrow, it all starts with arranging atoms. Materials engineering isn't just about what things are made of, it's about dreaming up what they could be made of and then building that future one single atom at a time.